Hey! Welcome to Save Points. New to the channel is going to be highlights from some of my favorite moments of the year in gaming. Now, some of this is going to include some heavy spoilers and post-game content, but no worries, I'll put a tag right before that section along with the chapter skips so you know to jump right through it. That said, let's roll them out. Starting with Jusant. This indie game surprises you with how clever its main gameplay mechanic is and its commitment to provide an integrated climbing experience, short of just push to the right. Looking at you, Uncharted.
There a problem?
No, just how do you make it go?
As you master the controls with perfect timing of your trigger buttons to climb higher and higher and higher, you burn stamina fast. Luckily, you were able to jam that python in right at that last moment to save your progress up that wall. That and the checkpoints that reset your climbing meter never get old. Never played a game like this before, never thought the idea of the climbing bit within a video game could be so awesome. Alright, Final Fantasy XVI. The game does suffer from some pacing issues and having a much weaker back half, with most of the best content buried in the side quest.
Quite a beast has the appetite of a behemoth. Just this very morn, I found him with his nose buried in my nuts.
You cannot deny the epic presentation though. Halfway through the adventure, you have to do battle with the Dominant and their icon of massive proportions, the likes of which would make John Kratos take a step back and gasp. Incredible scale and epic action round this out as one of the year's best moments. Highly recommended. God of War Ragnarok. There are many amazing moments throughout John's adventure, but the finest has to be when Atreus strikes out on his own and has to climb the massive wall. It's an awesome moment, and it's amazing to see him do this sans Kratos. Then, as a bonus, there is this island that you remove these chains from, only to find out it's a freaking sea creature, and you can interact with and climb on. As a bonus here, Valhalla. I just finished this up, but I still want to put it in the best moments of 2023. It completely is a roguelike. You're rolling your character, and each time you do gain emblems and crests. I really appreciate how each new roll that you run through Kratos in these different environments that are picked right out of his memories, the narrative between Mimir and Kratos, and not only the journey that he's on, but they fill in narrative as Mimir, and you feel that much more for him as a character.
Avoiding her?
I am not avoiding her.
Brother, you've gone to bloody Valhalla to avoid her. At least be honest with yourself.
Incredible DLC. And here's the spoiler point. This all leads up to Kratos essentially moving past his past, really, and looking to the future, but not before confronting it head on. And I mean confronting it. It's obvious they're picking at pieces that will be fully on display in the inevitable God of War 3. The other God of War 3. Haha! Super Mario RPG. This is my game. I was there when this game came out, literally in 1996. Like, the day it came out. Super Nintendo box that's worth like $700 on eBay now. All of it. And I've got to say, each and every moment in this, I treasure. So yes, I'm a little biased, but with the additions of the incredible pre-rendered animated cutscenes, which are state-of-the-art across the game in regards to your larger Chrono Trigger type triple tech attacks, and on top of the amazing post-game content. In the post-game, you are allowed to go back and beat bosses, no new bosses except for one, we'll get to that at the end. These bosses are incredibly difficult, not in the idea that Square went in there and just pumped their stats through the roof. No, they require very specific strategy in each case. So the tactics you're utilizing in the main game are kind of thrown out the window to be able to approach it and just toss up your game. I love that. They didn't have to include it, but they did, and it makes it that much more amazing when you are in the post game and you have a just decked out Mario and company. Spoiler territory. Culex 3D. Now, Culex was a special, awesome bonus boss in the original Super Mario RPG. Now, they took that same idea and expanded it. So Culex, which was a traditional Super Nintendo character sprite, you have to remember Super Mario RPG was an isometric 3D game. Yes, it was still 2D, but it had the illusion of being a 3D game, and it was one of the most amazing things we had seen in gaming. Culex 3D is incredible and very difficult. He brings all his crystals with him, just like you would imagine, and it's tough. Because everything that you're used to, not only are all their stats bumped, but you have to constantly monitor each and every turn with some of Square's very best stuff. Highly recommended, highly incredible Super Mario RPG. Forspoken. Yeah, no, I know what you're thinking. Just hang with me for a second. I'll be the first to admit, I platinumed this title and got everything in it. It took over 90 hours. And I really did hate it. However, the reason this is on the list was this promise of this pure technical skill of everything on display. And when this game fires on all cylinders, you will be a type of ice skater running around various ravines, flying out of the forest to parkour up this sheer side of a cliff to just slam this group of giant enemies with this incredibly awesomely charged attack. The awesome parkour type abilities that are happening on play, and it all wrapped into that DualSense controller. I've never played a game before. When you summon like a essential boulder, handful of rocks, and it starts shaking and summoning, you feel it in the DualSense and the trigger. It will not only give you resistance, but it does that micro mini shaking and then builds up the shaking to the point where you launch it and it blasts. Forspoken, way back when, Project Agatha, I think is what it was referring to, was a whole different monster. It was shown as a technical showcase, and although maybe we didn't get there, rarely do games ever get to their technical showcase. Puddlegate, Spider-Man. Spider-Man. With that said, I think it's incredible when this game is at its very best, just from a technical perspective, and the environment that it creates. The scale is ridiculous. That's why I'm putting Forspoken just in that moment. Atomic Heart. This game fully attracted me as it wears its influence to BioShock's world and art style directly on its tentacle-laden sleeves. But in its best moments, there is a true sense of place, and everything feels connected, with beautiful animation to help ground the outlandish narrative. I really enjoyed this one and kept with it, even going through all of the secret labs and underground areas. It was just a joy, and again, one of the best technical showcases of the year. One of my favorite shooters and favorite horror games of all time. I played this so many times, Dead Space. But I have to say, every time I slide into that freezer or cylindrical food storage area and that larger-than-life Leviathan lights up the screen, I'll never get tired of that. It makes you feel so claustrophobic and helpless because it's on a scale you just haven't seen yet in that game. It just feels that much better with all of the remastered visuals and smoke and mirrors and fog and awesome particle effects to just rip it a new one. Awesome moment. Hi-Fi Rush.
Yes?
This is an insane, incredible cinematic quality animation on display. It seriously felt like watching a fantastic Netflix animated showcase. Nothing compared to that level of animated production quality all year. Even some of Final Fantasy XVI's best stuff was not as good as what they did with Hi-Fi Rush. In a galaxy far, far away. Jedi Survivor. A bit wobbly as performance may be on this one, I loved the intricacies of every piece of lore and thought-out setting as the full world of Star Wars just dripped in that amazing lore, color, presentation. You really felt that it was a lived-in place. You can tell now that everything through Disney has kicked up hugely in building this incredible Star Wars mythos that it's even transcending, and those branches are in the games we play now. Once upon a time, you would never get this level of lore and storytelling and just overall care that Star Wars Jedi Survivor has. Force is strong with this one. No, that was Tears of the Kingdom. Now, this one is pretty self-explanatory, but I have to say, even with having the highest expectations, I was even blown away the first time you dove from miles up in the sky to deep into the darkest bowels of Hyrule. It's a moment that deserves to be among the entire franchise's very best. And to top all that off, this is all technically being done on 10-year-old hardware. Can you imagine what the Switch 2 is going to be capable of? Not only with the inevitable remaster HD upgrade that they're going to do, but the actual next legitimate first-party Nintendo Zelda title. I should do a video on that. Now we're in the bonuses. Cocoon. Okay. I can take the green sphere, and then I use that in this door, and then I combine it with this blue sphere, and then I put the orange sphere in that blue sphere, so I can teleport to this side. And once I'm on this side, I can use the actual teleportation disc to get all of us over here. And then I can set the white orb into the shooting mechanic machine, and that will shoot the actual blast out over into the orb, which transcends into the blue one, which will come back into the orange one, finally setting this figure and then open this trapdoor, and then the switch will be kicked, and then I'll walk through it. Cocoon. If you know, you know. Resident Evil 4. I played this back on the GameCube, and the PlayStation 2, and PC, and the Xbox, and my fridge, and my Samsung donut holder. And this is an incredible remastered DLC. This DLC, even if you don't go for everything, is gonna run you between 8 and 10 hours, which is just incredible. It feels like half of a game. It's just so good. You're not only going back through each one of the main environments you went through on the same idea, but you have to utilize Ada's much more cunning and stealth mechanic play. Now, this is no Metal Gear Solid. You certainly are gonna be ripping everyone with your shotgun. It really does play out too, parallel to the story within Leon, and that's incredible. So highly recommended, not only for the narrative, but the presentation. And they wrap it all up in the end where you really feel, oh, all right, this is where Resident Evil 5, I guess, is gonna go. I'm not sure what they're gonna do, but I'll tell you right now, if any game was going to get an absolutely true, dedicated sequel, in the style of Kingdom Hearts, it's gonna be Resident Evil 4.259C, the dawn of the zombie apocalypse with umbrellas. They have all of the umbrellas. It will rain soon. Well, thanks so much. I am so excited to have this new season of Save Points kick back off. And I would love to hear what are your favorite moments in gaming. Any spare time I get now, I am always right in front of whatever the hottest game is. Playing Alan Wake 2 right now, going through some other pieces, it's incredible. I'd love to know what you're playing, and I'd love to know what are your favorite highlights of 2023. Very much looking forward to everything in 2024. 2023 was a banger year for game releases, and I'm excited to see what the new year brings. Thanks so much for watching Save Points. I'll see you in the next one, and remember to always continue gaming. Bye!